set up here. Just getting some things set up here. Crimson Knight, that is all. Yeah, a lot more happened than just that, too. All right, how's my audio? Just as a fair warning, there is a good chance. Can you hear you good? Just as a fair warning, there is a good chance that we may encounter problems because my internet is only so fast in an apartment, and both of my roommates are currently playing online right now. They're playing Rainbow Six Siege online, so we may encounter some problems. I hope not, but we'll see. Okay, so we're jumping right into this. A lot of big revelations last time. Regarding the id, regarding the ethos, regarding Solaris and its role in the entire world, regarding Billy and his past. A lot happened. All right, so we went off last time. What happened off camera? Nothing. I didn't do anything off camera. I didn't particularly need to grind for death blows. I'm alright with death blows right now. Maybe Bart may need some more, since we're going to be using Bart quite a bit here. But I don't think so. I think we should be fine. Doing Insane by his Prophet. Yeah, that also happened. Off camera, that's right. So yeah, I think we're alright with death blows. Most of this dungeon, I gotta be honest, is gonna be carried by Ellie. Ellie's errands are gonna carry us through Babel Tower. So not a whole lot of off camera, or not a whole lot of death blow grinding needs to be done before we go. But yeah, we ended off last time with we defeated Stein. We had another appearance from Groff, powered up Stein. It was a fake-out sacrifice by Jesse to kill Stein. And then, Jesse came back and started talking about the M project. So this is going to be an important thing from kind of here on in the story. The M project was some top-secret scientific project within Solaris that basically doing a lot of like genetic experimental, like genetic experiments and tests and things on surface dwellers. Also, to fight against Terrasteel. And Terrasteel Sybil. True. You still never Terrastelize. And then you're good against Terrasteel. You're good against whatever whatever strong bullet punch I throw at you. But yeah, so he had some intel on the M project, which is kind of what he's been chasing down for a while. It's why he left Solaris. It's why it seems like several people left Solaris for this reason. But there's a scientist who was involved in Solaris that also left, that he thinks knows something about the M project that he's been trying to search down for the past 10 years or so now. kind of on behalf of Shevat. This scientist, we have heard, went to Shevat, and his daughter, who has has some special gear with her, is somehow connected, may reveal something about the M project and what exactly Solaris is planning. So he hasn't had a way to get up to Shevat for this whole time. We found a Shevat refugee, or maybe not a refugee, but some sort of kidnapped Shevat person from Shevat in the Ethos HQ basement that told us that we could go up to Babel Tower. There may be a way to contact Shevat, because Shevat used to be on top of Babel Tower, and then we'll be able to get it from there. So that's kind of where we're headed this time. So right now, though, I am going to be customizing our gears because we have a long gear dungeon ahead of us. This is one of the longest dungeons in the game. We have new engines for everyone. So this is kind of the point in the game where, with regards to engines, we're going to have to start making some choices. Because as you can see here, so the R23 has 3,000 fuel. The R28 has 2,200 fuel. So you can go for a stronger engine, which gives you more damage output, or you can more damage output but less fuel, or you can go with something that has more fuel over time but less damage output. So for right now, it will depend on the gear who I'm putting what on. So for Vierge, I definitely want the R23, because her actual gear damage output is not going to end up mattering. It's more so just how many times can we use Arids. That's the entire Vierge game plan, and Arids takes up a lot of fuel. So it's worth just having more fuel on Vierge. What about armor? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to give her more HP, though, and then we have some better... We have Z-Alloy, too. Alright. Yeah. New stuff all around. Always worth checking back at shops that you've already been to. Whereas when it comes to Veltal, I do actually want a decently high damage output on Veltal. I'm going to give him the V28. Less fuel. Actually, how many did it have before? It may be less fuel than we had already. What? Okay. I think Heimdall had the same engine on that he had. Oh yeah, it's a decrease even further. We used to have 2,500, now we're at 22. Okay. So, either way, we're doing more damage. I think it's going to be worth it in the long run. I'm going to give him this. This is where gear equipment starts costing an arm and a leg. That's kind of how I want Veltal right now. And then... we're not going to be using Heimdall. Brigadier, here we go. Let's give Brigadier... Okay, it was at 2,000, this is fine. Give him the V28. Give him the 9,100 HP. And then... yeah, we're gonna... that's a lot of money. 10,000 gold for the Z-Alloy? Alright. We are going to be encountering a lot of enemies that use Ether, though. So, that's going to be worth it. I don't think there's anyone else I need to customize yet, because this is going to be our party going up Babel Tower. But... yeah, I think this is fine. I'm not going to spend any more money right now. Actually, no. Scratch that. I do want to check the accessories. Weapons. Yeah, there's better whips for Brigadier. Okay, I'll buy one of those. We have more ammo, which I'm not going to bother with yet. I'm just going to buy the whip. I'm going to try to save up my money, maybe. I can buy a lot more at one time once I have more money. I'm not sure what specific status effects the enemies at Babel Tower inflict. So none of these are going to be useful for right now. We have frame HP, like frame repairs, on all the gears that we're going to be using. So I'm not too worried about that. Sell anything? I guess we can sell all of our old extra armors. We don't ever use these. C circuit, no. The old circuit, no. Make some good money off of this. So I don't ever use HP 10s. The O2, yeah, I'll sell the O2 cylinder. Beam jammers may be useful. These could be useful, the micas and grounds. E circuits and B circuits, those just like increase effectiveness, some stat in like a specific environment. I'm not too interested in those. I'll keep the light armor for right now, and then yeah, that's fine. Get some money off of that, and then any old ammo, rods, whips, I'll sell all of those. Okay, so that's where I am right now. Does the man over here say anything new? General Matria, Falcon, and Ferrant are gone. I missed them. That was the squad that accompanied Faye when he went through the mountains during the Bloodabek operation. All right. That's everything I wanted to do with our gears. Battle Tower is not a ground dungeon, so I'm not going to worry too much about our ground equipment. You say the same thing you did before. Some of the other people say new things. I'm going to try to check all of them. Finish them in one stroke. Let's stay here for a while, okay. Decide to work here, I hope you don't mind. So have you met my stupid husband acting all big and mighty in the engine room? He's got a bad mouth, but deep down he's a good man. Don't think we need to. Not gonna waste any time. What about Margie's room? Primera? You talk now. You did at one point. Don't say anything else. He's holding a note. Oh, let's read it. Let's read it. Pre-memo. There are 3 types of... Oh, okay. This is literally just re-explaining Billy's combat stuff. Okay, well... I guess if anyone would know, it'd be Primera. I admire Primera. She's only a child, yet she has been through so much. But when you look at me, I'd better start to get my act together. Not see each other for a while. So yeah, we're gonna be they're all kind of saying that it's going to be a little while before we get to see Yggdrasil again, because it's just going to be the 3 gears we send at Babel Tower. Yggdrasil's going to stay here because he can't fly yet. But yeah, so it's going to be a little while before we see everyone in Yggdrasil again. I have this wound. Only been checking your weight. I need to explain inside. Examine inside for a change. Early detection, early prevention is important. What? You don't actually do it. What does that matter? Doesn't affect anything. That's getting its act together? No. Choo-Choo actually becomes pretty important in this next arc, and this is kind of where Choo-Choo starts to be annoying. Hey, Jesse. Keywords are Nikolai, Maria, a huge gear, eh? Nikolai. So Nikolai was the scientist that was from Solaris on the M Project, but then left, defected to Shevat. And then Maria is his daughter, and there's some huge gear that's connected to both of them that we're going to be learning about. Originally, Shevat was a town situated on top of Babel Tower. They say there was a communication facility to contact what now is Shevat on top of the tower. If only it still exists and still works now. Thank you for your very gracious information. We wouldn't have been able to do this without him. Any new items here? Did they sell? Yes, they do sell S's. Good. I think I may have sold S's last time. It's terrific, but whatever. Let's just buy these just because. Those are like, these are basically like X items from Pokemon. Like temporarily increase certain stats during a battle. Not too useful in this game. How about that? Probably have some gold nuggets and things to sell too. Yeah. I'll save up my eyeballs and scales and stuff. We'll eventually be able to go back to Nortune and sell it all to the Biento. Yeah, all the old rods, old ammo. I may keep the ammo. Old whips, that kind of stuff. Okay. Accessories, everything old. Just more That's actually good for everyone. More items we can then, or more gold we can then spend on gear stuff. What is our equipment looking right now? Do you have accessories? I just looked at items. Okay, nothing good. Nothing better than the metal helmet. Okay, let's go down and check on Rico and Hammer. Not that room. Other room. I keep forgetting. That room has significance later on. But right now, Rico and Hammer are in this room. I'll be supporting you. There's nothing to do now. I could help you if you wanted me to. Sorry, Rico. Not now. Who's the guy in the engine room who was boasting we heard about? Let's check on that. Later. Careful. They're just wishing us good luck as we go up Babel Tower. I forgot what they named the dog. They mentioned it in the cutscene where Ellie like sabotages the place. The core will break if the toroid is cooled down completely. It's big, but it's delicate. It's going great. Good to know. I feel like he was a little more hostile toward us when Faye first came to the Yggdrasil. Where does Billy stay? Is he over here? Yeah, there's your Billy inside there. I want to journey with you and find out the truth about this world. You can count on me to help you anytime. He had his whole truth shattered last time. I would be more than happy to come along. That's where we can recruit them from. If we wanted to recruit them. Let's go talk to Margie. That's where they stay when they're not being used. Grow bigger, grow! This tree was planted when the... Yeah, we know the story. Shut up. Let me go to the door. Let me go to the door. And I think everyone on the bridge says the same stuff. I know Franz says the same stuff for the whole game. So no point in talking to them. The hot sounds or whatever. Want to hear my hot sounds? Some new parts were brought into our gear shop down below. We already saw them. Why don't you go check them out? It's nice that they tell you that. There's a lot of RPGs that don't tell you that. Okay. Off to Babel Tower. Babel Tower is infamous within the Xenogears community. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people, I've heard people call it unplayable. I've heard people say they quit at Babel Tower. I've heard all this about Babel Tower. There are people who really, really hate Babel Tower. And also, since the Ethos fell, the Ethos crest is not sealing it anymore, so we can just go right in. But, I am here to say that I defend Babel Tower. I think Babel Tower is actually a really... not a great dungeon, because I don't think any of the dungeons in Xenogears are great. I think in general the dungeon design in Xenogears is honestly pretty bad. But, just listen to the music. Until there's a battle. Yeah, we have these enemies. These are kind of going to be the bulk of the enemies we'll be encountering. We can kill them in one use of Arids, but not really a point for these. They're pretty easy. They don't dodge us. Yeah, one hit and they're down. Traffic jams. Listen to the music, streamer says. The music in Battle Tower is really good. It's very atmospheric. I did not actually need to have LED. Just have LED charge. Okay, yeah, so let's talk about Babel Tower a little bit. So, I think Babel Tower is not that bad. So, the main reason a lot of people hate Babel Tower is because of platforming. And yes, there is platforming in Babel Tower, right up here. You have a jump we make. And platforming in a 1990s RPG that is not made for platforming, with a very undeveloped, and dare I say unfinished physics engine, with random encounters, is not great. I will never defend the platforming in this place. The platforming is not good. The fact that this game requires platforming of you to progress the game when that was not ever established, like an established mechanic in any of the dungeons beforehand, besides like a little bit maybe, like jumping up places, not jumping across places. It's shitty. I agree. But there's not actually that much of it. Like, people way over-exaggerate how much platforming there is in this dungeon. There's not very much of it. Like, and as long as you don't, like, make unnecessarily stupid jumps, you're not gonna fall. Like, you can go for some jumps in really weird ways, and you can have a chance of falling. Like that. I kind of did a diagonal there. And yeah, you fall, come back over here, you have to make your way back up, and there's a jump even when you're coming back up. And you encounter random encounters on the way back. Again, I'm not defending that part. Little did you... Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Little did you know, I fell on purpose so I could go come get these chests. But yeah, don't be like stupid with it, and you should be fine, for the most part. I have never... apparently people online have had this experience. Not once. I mean, granted, I've only played through Xenogears twice. Not once, though, have I ever, in either of the times I went through Babel Tower, not once have I ever had a time or a random encounter interrupted a jump and caused me to miss. That's never happened to me. I've heard people online say that happened to them. That's never happened to me. And I think the game actually scripts it to where it doesn't happen. I'm not going to say people are lying and like trying to over-exaggerate it, but I kind of think the game scripts it that way. Like, it doesn't give you a random encounter when you're right next to a ledge that where's an important jump. Maybe it did happen and people were just like jumping in really awkward ways, so it didn't happen that way, but like, I've never had that happen to me before. I've heard people online say, oh my gosh, jumping with random encounters is not good. I agree that the random encounters suck because you have to go back through the areas again. Like, you have to get back where you were. But like, it's not... I've never had an encounter itself make a jump go bad. Or make me fall. I've never had that happen. We'll see what happens this time. Maybe I'm just jinxing it. But I think, I'm pretty sure the game scripts it that way. Anyway, we'll see though. We'll see. I do not find the enemies in this... people can complain about the random encounters. The enemies in Babel Tower are nowhere near as frustrating as the enemies back in Kislev Sewers. Even, like, this is only the beginning of the dungeon. It's a pretty long dungeon, to be fair. I still wouldn't say it's as long as the Kislev Sewers, though. My first time through the Kislev Sewers, I was in there for well over 2 hours. And I think my first time through, I was in here for a little over 1. Like, not even an hour and a half. It's long, sure, but it's like not awful. I'm just gonna use air experiences. So the random encounters are not as annoying. The camera is actually mostly fixed, so you're not in like a maze-like section like you are in the Kislev sewers, where the whole dungeon is designed like a maze, so you lose when you go into a battle, you lose which way you're facing, you become disoriented, and you don't know where you are. The camera only has so many different ways you can turn in this dungeon, so it's very hard to get lost in Babel Tower as opposed to other dungeons. Like, even the... Okay, that was just stupid. Even like the dungeon last time, the little dungeon that we went through in the Zeboim excavation site, like, I didn't particularly like that dungeon. I didn't think that was a very good dungeon. It's full of hallways with dud doors, and it has the same problem that all the other Xenogears dungeons have, where you're turning the camera, you don't remember which way you're facing whenever you get interrupted by random encounters, so you lose your way, right? And you just keep getting lost. A lot of the Xenogears dungeons have that problem. Again, I'm not saying that the Xenogears dungeon design is good. It's definitely the worst part of the game, don't get me wrong. It's bad. Like, the vast majority of the Xenogears dungeons are bad. But I would honestly say, not only is Babel Tower not awful, I think Babel Tower may be in like maybe not the best dungeon in this game, but in like the upper half of the dungeons in Xenogears. There are reasons for legitimately enjoying Babel Tower. One of them is the music. The music is atmospheric, it's got this mysterious element to it, it's kind of repetitive in such a way that, like, it's almost entrancing, eerie. There's a level of intrigue to it. I really like this song. Honestly, I'd say like top 10 songs in Xenogears. It's a really great one. So one you're hearing a lot more later on as well. It's called Omen, I believe. Depending on the translation, either Omen or Premonition. But I like the music, and most of all, like, the music is just one part of this. The atmosphere of this place is great. Like, this is an ultra-ancient relic that we know nothing about, Babel Tower is. This random tower out in the middle of an archipelago stands tall, stretches all the way to the sky. No one knows where it came from. The Ethos has their own story about it, but we know that the Ethos has their own agenda, and nearly every part of their doctrine is bullshit. It's just made up by Solaris, so their agenda, or everything they say, kind of follows with the Solaris agenda. Who knows what parts of the Ethos doctrine were true and what parts were just propaganda for Solaris, or what Solaris wanted you to believe. The Ethos said that that Babel Tower was a building made by sinners who wanted to challenge God and were punished for their insolence by being reduced to only being in Shevat. But we know that Shevat is an enemy of Solaris. Shevat is the only place in the world where Solaris can't reach because of it has the same gate that Solaris uses. Oh yeah, you're swinging on a rope here. So we know that Solaris has an agenda already against Shevat. So they have a reason to lie about it, right? They have reason to try to slander Shevat and lie about it and say that they're sinners and punished forever and all that stuff, right? Like, we can't believe them on it, so no one really knows where Babel Tower comes from. When you go inside, it's got this this eerie atmosphere to it. You're going through this place, metal exterior, metal walls, kind of broken apart, like grounds and stuff. We're going to be going into places later that just kind of further all of that. Everything here is broken apart. These are like machine parts that used to go to something, and no one knows. We don't have an answer yet where this came from, but there is an answer. There is an answer as to where Babel Tower came from, and you may actually already be able to piece it together. Depends on how much you've been paying attention. But for right now, it's just this ultra ancient relic that no one knows anything about. I think that adds a great level of mystery, and that kind of pervades the whole dungeon the whole way you're going through it. I enjoy that aspect about Babel Tower. So, all in all, not an awful dungeon. battles aren't terrible. The platforming is not good, but it's not egregiously bad for me. All right, this one's kind of an interesting one. So this one lowers. We have to jump off at the right time. There we go. You know, the atmosphere is great. There's a level of mystery to it. I like this dungeon. I don't maybe not love it, but I like that. I like Babel Tower. That's. It appears to be some kind of relay station. Let's go up and see. Actually, never mind. I want to know where that chest is. Can you jump on this again? Yeah, okay. There we go. I want to go see what that chest was. Okay, we had to jump off at the right time. Not worth it. Let's just go on. Save. Yeah, you get to hear more of the music. It's a great song. It really sells the atmosphere of this place. Like look at the signs here. There's like signs and rusted metal and like you don't know where this place came from. It looks almost like concrete on the outside, but the inside is like metal. This looks like some kind of relay station to the upper atmosphere. Can we control it from this room? Looks like we can get in through here. Okay. No random encounters in here. Okay. Got a gold nugget. There's like bigger computers on the wall. The chair is on the wall that way, so I guess it was meant to be like that was the floor for whatever time, for whatever this is used for. So it's like people used to inhabit this place. This wall on the left here was a floor. There's a seat there. There's kind of a desk to use the computers. Interesting. What else can we do in here? Nothing with that. And that just leads back outside. Okay. Oh, no way! Oh, and we're on the ground, too. Oh, that's funny. Okay, yeah. Let's go. Oh, no way. Come on. There's no way. There's no way! Wow! Okay, we get to see our first game over. Like temporal tower. It does have the temporal tower like atmosphere. How's that for your first game over? I should have probably just called our gear and then escape better, but either way, we just got a save point. Funny way to have a first game over. On the ground, accidentally went outside just to investigate, and then paid the price for it. Oh, okay. Now we can encounter this thing. We can fight this thing for real. Let's burn you. All right then. Okay, there's the dialogue. Let's try going inside. Okay, so that just leads back outside. Okay, there's the gold nugget. Oh, that's what we're supposed to investigate. Okay, gotcha. This appears to be the relay station control room. Let's try a few things around here. Nothing. Okay. Oh. Literally a train you can just take up on. Wasn't that convenient? So maybe we can go over there? There we go. There's probably a more elegant way to get to that, but either way, we're in here. Looks like we can get to the upper room through here. We need to get out of the gears and cross via the handrails. Understood. Let's get these crates first. Got a beam jammer. And got an ether armor. I want to check our gear equipment. I don't think I can check that before. Oh, okay. That's quite the ether attack. Attacks everyone too, even the enemies. Okay. So now we need to go on the ground and climb up from here. There we go. Okay, real quick while I'm thinking about it, let me check the gear accessories. I bought some new stuff. Or I just sold the old stuff, but either way, I haven't checked these in a while. Okay, everyone is where I wanted them to be, okay. Oh, he has like no ether defense. Let's give him an ether armor just to kind of make it so that he doesn't die in one hit from an ether attack. It's probably just because I gave him the XMS rather than the Z alloy. Oh, did I put the new whip on Bart's gear? One sec. I guess I did. Or I sold the last one accidentally. One of the two. Okay. He's fine, he's doing enough damage. Gold nugget. Old circuit. More computers up here. This is like the upper window of the little train car. Here? Hey, it started! Alright, let's go. It really does have that temporal tower feel. Now that you say it, I can really see that. It has the same kind of atmosphere, like this ultra ancient tower. It has that same feel, definitely. Reminds me of the tower from Golden Sun as well. Where are we going to climb to? Hey, we're going out on the outer wall. Well, couldn't get us all the way to the top. Shot from where? Crap, the track's gone. We're going outside. What's that? It's never that easy. A Gebler ship. Ramses and Miang. Here for their rematch. Now in their actual gears, not the Haichao. What is that gear? I've been waiting, Faye. Last time at sea, I was rendered unconscious by a surprised traitor, but that won't happen this time. I won't let you go up. How do they know we were here? But I removed the recognition code and tracking. Our backs to the wall, we can't run. Guess we have to fight. Here we go. Alright. Something of a mini-boss. Halfway, a little under halfway through the dungeon. Alright. Guess we can try Arids. I don't know how effective it'll be. It's another case of, we have both Ramses and Miang here, but we can only attack Ramses' gear, Wyvern. And Miang's gear is just called Miang's gear. Doesn't have a name. Does some damage. Go to attack level. Go for the next attack. Same with Bart. Maybe I could have used Wild Smile with Bart, but I'm not too worried about this. That's a sick sword he has there, too. Oof. You know what, Ellie? Keep doing you. It's been effective. Keep doing it. Oh, speaking of which, one thing I wanted to show once we get back to Bart's turn. Bart has a new option he can use in battle as well. Or I may have already shown that. Not sure. A lot of noise outside my apartment. Do you hear the car going by? Yeah, I don't know whether I showed this, but the Yggdrasil can still drop depth charges even outside of the water. You can use that in any fight. Just summon the Yggdrasil, somehow flying in the sky. Don't think about it too much. Doesn't do any damage. Probably because the Yggdrasil wasn't actually able to fly in the sky. In other words, Miang is unremarkable. I would not say that. I would not say she is unremarkable. Definitely not unremarkable. But, just doesn't have a name for her gear. She does heal, though. Quite a lot, too. Oof. Ramses honestly is one of my favorite gear designs, the Wyvern. Which is a shame because we don't actually get to see Wyvern very often in this game. Like, I'm pretty sure this is the last time we ever see Wyvern. Ramses gets a new gear after this, I think. Wyvern's design is really sick, though. The wings, the huge sword. Really cool. Yutan. Easy enough. Unremarkable in this fight, you mean, yeah. But she's not an unremarkable character. Not in any way. It's not over. Not yet. No, Commander. Pull out. Let go, Miang. I can't retreat now. It's impossible with your wounds. Bridge, secure the retreat. Main gun, elevation 0.8. Support fire 30. Fire! From above? No, it couldn't be. Bridge! Dimensional vibrations, level 8. A huge formation is coming this way. Just as I feared. Shevat. Change heading. 180 degrees. Now! All ships full speed. Retreat from this position. Shevat saved us. Or something like that. Like an air attack. Let's go and see. Alright, so now I gotta make it up the rest of the way by... I would say by foot, but we're in our gears. You know what I'm trying to say. Okay, so we have... Is this a doorway over here? What is this? This door is completely rusted. Never mind. Okay, so this isn't concrete. I'll amend what I said earlier. This is rusted metal. It makes a lot more sense. And this almost looks like carbon nanotubes. GT35. Look at that on the ground. Pipes. What do those do again? The micas in the ground? Oh. The wise men survived the dreadful encounter? I'll go ahead and say yes. It's not worth hiding it, I guess. He's still alive. Rough encounter, but he's still alive. There's some strong ether attacks to contend with in a lot of these battles. Yeah, anyone who says that this dungeon is as bad or worse, as bad as or worse than Kiss Up Sewers is delusional. Like, there's no way. Kiss Up Sewers was much worse than this. Just a knock on the head for that last one. I hear people all the time who play Xenogears and say that they quit at this dungeon. I think is absurd. Granted, the hard platforming stuff is coming up. We haven't seen the hard platforming stuff. Can we go through the door? Oh, okay. This one. We haven't seen the real hard platforming stuff yet. But even that, I don't think is enough to warrant quitting the game. Can we jump this? Yep. Okay. Just over here. Let's check what those do, out of curiosity. I think the O2 cylinder is a status preventer. Let me see. Oh no, increases agility in water. Yeah, I know what the old circuit does. Micas and grounds. Oh, okay. I think I looked at that last time, too. That the grounds decrease electric damage. Because it grounds the electricity. I think I remember saying that last time. Big computer room here. Gold nugget and an E-circuit. Anything we can do with these? What the? Move the mirror for whatever that's worth. Communications are up. Oh, okay, good. Lock clear. Done. Okay, so these are all doing things. What those things are, I guess we'll see the repercussions of later, but press a bunch of buttons, did a bunch of things, let's leave. That's the Fei Fong Wong way. The Matthew way. What'd this do? I actually do know. Screw you too. That's why I didn't need to use it. Yang power. It's a new ether technique that Faye can use. Rather, he calls it chi, but it's ether. Come on, dodging our attacks. There we go. Okay, so there's something down there. There's also this over this way. Let's check down there first. Okay. Oh, so it was worth it. Okay. Chest. Veil Doubler. Wind Veil Armor. So the Veil Doubler is like an Ether Veiler, like a better Ether Veiler, right? Doubles Elemental. Yeah, yeah, okay. I mean, we're fine. Don't really need any special equipment right now. I don't want to give up any of our frame repairs. I believe this way just leads back to where we were going before. I don't think there's anything new about it. Ice Rod. Does that have special ice damage properties? Hot Rod versus, yeah, okay. Water attack. Well, it may not be the most useful against certain enemies, but I guess I can always just use her magic if not, her ether if not. So, I'll equip that. Against those, I ought to just use my triangle attacks. They're more accurate, and they do the job fine. Instead of having to waste 30 fuel on attacks that may or may not hit. We've got veils for basically every element we need. If only I knew which elements we needed them, or which enemies I needed which element for. Okay, new room. This is the kind of the bulk of the dungeon. Alright. We have new enemies here. Here's where it's more worth using Arids. The enemies in the earlier parts of the dungeon are child's play compared to this. Oh, I didn't refuel Bart, I just realized that. I missed the Brigadier. Here it's really worth just annihilating them with Arids. It's the same traffic jam enemies, but there's other ones with them. With the amount of platforming you have to do in this specific part, yeah, you want to just get rid of them quick. Stone Rod, that's an earth attack. I believe there are also scripted encounters here too. So I don't think you can I don't think you escape from this one yet. Okay, let me go fuel up Brigadier. Bees crackle. Bees. Yeah, I probably accidentally did Heimdall because it comes before Brigadier. They don't sell anything new, so that'll be it. It's just for fueling up. Thank you. Come again. Right, so this is the elevator up, and also looks like one of the traffic jam enemies. So I guess we'll have to fight it first. There's kanji on those traffic jam enemies, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, so when most people complain about Babel Tower, they're mostly complaining about this part here, where the platforming can be especially punishing because if you miss a jump, then you fall all the way down. We'll just keep going up and up and up in this room, and you fall really far down and still have to go through all these encounters. I can understand this. The problem is the platforming is not actually that hard. So, I don't know. I can see where it can be really, soul-crushing having to do this for the first time, but it's not awful. It can usually, it doesn't take you more than, 5 minutes to get back to where you were. It happened to me once or twice, in my other playthroughs. Okay, so, gotta go over here. There's the elevator. Okay, can I get some sort of... If I jump here, I'll land. There we go. Let's save for fuel. Let's just fight these hand to hand. We still have a boss at the end of the dungeon too, so I'll save up a little bit of fuel for that. And I don't think there is there's a charging robot. That's a bit overkill. Yeah, all of the elevators here are traps, because they're all like the traffic jams. There's scripting towers on each of them. You have defense mechanisms or something? Autonomous defense mechanisms? Yeah. I'm pretty sure all of these are scripted. And again, I think they do that intentionally. They're not going to just give you encounters, random encounters about interrupt or jump. I've never had that happen to me before. Oh, come on. Should have listened to my own advice that I said earlier. Just use triangle attacks on these. Light armor +2. That's good. Let's put that on, let's see, I think Vierge already has the +1. Let's put that on Vierge. Actually, Brigadier has a +1 too. She already has higher ether defense. Let's just put it on Brigadier. Is there a chest? Yeah, I thought so. Oh, bullion. Really reward you for that. A way you can kind of tell if it's scripted, usually like random encounters, the party will kind of just keep moving a little bit after the encounter screen starts. These, it just freezes you in place. So they're scripted. It's weird. It counts this as like a separate room. You can still fall. Don't think you can't fall. You can still fall down all the way down from this height. It counts this as like a separate screen. You just fall through the screen transition. I think we'll have Ellie just carry us through all the regular enemies, and then when it comes down to the boss, she'll just take a back seat. Use her magic. Her magic doesn't require any fuel, so just use her ether. Yeah, ether, not magic. Use her ether. And do it that way. She can kind of take a back seat. She carried us this far. Her back's probably hurting. What's up here? Okay, how many uses? She only has one more use of Arids left, because it takes 400 fuel. Okay, we'll have her charge up a little bit. It charges up 30 fuel per time, so charging up is not very good. But it's basically the equivalent of defending in your gear. Oof. Charge. It does look like it has moss growing out of it, yeah. I do see that now. Hidden chest over here. Flare rod. And then the elevator is down this way. That's my trick with jumping on those elevators. Because jumping on those elevators is like the actual hard platform. Sometimes you can just miss and fall down. Turn the camera to kind of line yourself up. That's the best way to approach those. Thank God you don't slide off these. Okay, that one's a bitch. That elevator down there is a bitch. How is it? Oh, shoot. Okay. Oh, I see, okay. So it's lined up with this back part. Got it. Just take your time with the jumps. It's not too bad. I don't think we have too many more battles left. Let's just air these. Damn. Those are kind of glass cannons. They don't have a whole lot of HP, but they sure do a lot of damage. Those gun drones. Looks like I can climb up. And we're out of that room. Wait, we have the boss coming up. We will save. You can't fall from here, don't worry. We had sword drones 10, but what about gun drones 10? Wasn't there a gun drones 10 in Xenoblade? Hang on, there was cannon drones, shield drones, sword drones. What was the first one she had? Fiora. Oh crap, I should know this. I think there was a gun drones 10. I think it was gun drones, cannon drones, shield drones, and sword drones, if I remember. I could be wrong. Maybe ether drones or something like that. I don't remember. Something related to guns. Yeah, I remember something like that. There may have already been a gun drones. Not a gun drones 10. That's actually true. It was only because for all the ones except for sword drones, it only went up to 4, and then with sword drones they gave you a 10. So, yeah, never mind. You're right. Oh, come on, cars outside. What? No ceiling? It seems that it's true. Shevat was here before. Look around. It's like it was ripped off. There are marks from some huge thing. Oh yeah, is there any comm equipment nearby? I don't see anything else, but... Faye, look up! Something is closing in. It's a gear! From here is Shevat's territory. Many people have tried to get in, but Siebzen and I removed them. Wait a minute, we just want to... Get ready! Mystery girl. Is this Maria? Is this the girl that we've been hearing about? We have Siebzen. The name of this enemy. Sure, you know what? You can use air defense one more time. Let's do it. The name Siebzen, by the way, I know this because I'm taking German right now, is German for 17. So she'll just be charging for the rest of it, or I can have her do ether attacks, I guess. Quite the bulky gear it is. It's one of my favorite gear designs, though. Honestly, in general, it's probably my personal favorite gear in this game. But we'll get to that when we start getting to later stuff. That has a lot of significance. And it can restore its frame HP, just like we can. Ellie, let's burn it. And if you can see, the girl, Maria, maybe, okay, sure, the girl is riding on top of the gear. She's not actually in the cockpit, she's riding on its head. It's kind of interesting. I've never seen a gear like that before. Seems pretty dangerous for her, huh? We're just too strong. That's enough, Maria. Bring them in. Yes, Queen Zephyr. Aerial City Shevat. We've arrived at last. It seems to have nestled on top of Babel Tower again. So you gave the Queen your Ramses voice? It wasn't intentional. How the heck was she still on that gear, let alone still alive after what Bart did? Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, just wanted to test her strength. Actually, there is an answer to that. It's in Perfect Works. Her shoes are like electromagnetic. She has like something electromagnetic like property in her shoes that allows her to just stay on her gear. The Queen is awaiting for your arrival above. Useless. They allowed contact with Shevat.
There is an anima relic in Shevat. We can't afford to have them aligned before preparations are complete.
It's meaningless if it is not compatible with our type.
You want to bury all of Shevat?
What of the animus?
There are others. We must respond severely so this doesn't happen again.
What about the Shevat gate? As long as it is there, we can't get in.
Easy. We just use Oxen's gravity cannon to compensate for the time-space warp.
Oxen, is it operational?
Re-education is complete. It is ready. The airborne squad is already assembled.
Any side effects? The regulated 71st Airborne should have no problems.
Well then, I look forward to this.
The quintessence. How she survives, I don't know. But it does answer how she stays on. This is the dock floor located at the lowest layer of Shevat. I met you a little while ago. My name is Maria Balthasar. Balthasar? I've heard of that name before. Hey Faye, isn't that the same name as the eccentric old man? Remember the crazy old man playing with gears underground Ave? That's right, Old Man Bao, the hermit. That reminds me, the gear I saw resembles Bao's gear, Calamity, the one we encountered back in the cave. Calamity? That's the prototype gear my grandfather made. Do you know my grandpa? Where is he now? I just happened to come across him in the cavern underneath Ave's desert. I didn't know him that well, so you're Old Man Bao's grandchild. Yes, but I haven't seen him for the past few years. He said he was looking for something very important, and he left by himself. My father was captured by Solaris, and his whereabouts are not known either. But the crazy your grandpa looked just fine. He's the kind that never dies. Don't worry, Squirt. I'm not a squirt. Besides, my grandpa isn't the crazy old man. I know it. Sorry, don't get mad, Maria. I didn't mean to offend. I apologize. Sorry. Sorry, Dory. I heard you say sorry once already. You don't need to say it again. Anyhow, Queen Zephyr is waiting. Please go ahead and take the elevator to go upstairs. I still have to finish inspecting Siebzen. I'll show you the way to the palace when the time comes. Till then, please take a look around town. I'll see you later. Alright, let's go up there. Shevat, the only organization that stands against Solaris. Okay, let's bring 23 of those gears that kid was riding on home. Need a whole army of those. So yeah, Calamity had the autonomous gear. Well, Siebzen is the one that she was riding. Calamity is the autonomous gear that was back in the cave, back with when Faye and Bart were going through the cave at the beginning. Yes, Calamity is the autonomous gear in the cave, the one that Faye destroyed. Anyway, so we have Shevat. We know that Solaris is... If Solaris is Mobius, manipulating the world politics in order to control the war for all this time, then Shevat is, as you guessed, the city. I remember, Raheen, you said earlier on in the game that maybe the Yggdrasil was the city when we first went to the Yggdrasil. But I said there's another place that fits the bill of the city better. Here we are. Shevat is the city. It's the one place Solaris can't touch because of the gate. So over here is a hangar. They say the fight between you and Siebzen was well matched. Amazing. There's still people from the surface that can do all that. No sweat. If we all work together, we can teach Solaris a thing or two. Maybe. We've heard quite a bit. Well, maybe not quite a bit, but we've heard some about a war, at least from Ellie last time. We heard about a war between the Land Dwellers and Solaris 500 years ago that was the reason behind why Solaris is put in all these control mechanisms like the Ethos to try to control the surface. They wanted to prevent another rebellion. We will learn more about that. We also learned that Shevat was kind of somewhat involved in that as well, maybe helping the Land Dwellers against Solaris. We'll be learning a lot more about that while we're here. There's going to be a lot of lore that we're going to be learning here in Shevat. But this is such a monster. Maria's father designed something really extraordinary. I hear he's a Solaris scientist, but I still respect him. He proved to me a genius really exists. We heard he was a Solaris scientist, but we also heard he defected and then went back. His daughter Maria is now here, but he went back. So, interesting. Well, talking about servicing, it's not like we know everything about Steve Zen. Realistically, all we can do is check for abnormalities and do simple repairs. Don't worry, I'll also take a look at your gears later. Here's Maria. This Steep Sen was developed by my father. By the way, the song that plays here, it's called, oh, actually, I forgot. Touching the Stars or something like that. It's Maria's theme. It's a really great song. The Research Institute in Solaris. I just turned 5 years old at that time, and had no clue what was happening. Using me as a hostage, they forced my father to continue the research. But he never showed his pain or sorrow in front of me. He always smiled and said, "Don't worry, Maria. Steve Zen will be by your side to protect you." 5 years ago, that day, when I fell behind in our escape, my father protected me and ended up being left behind. Oh, so that's what happened. My father's voice, his smiles, are leaving me. They are far away, becoming obscure. I believed this would never happen. I swore I'd never forget. Now, the only connection between my father and me is this Zeebzen. But I'll save my father someday. I'll bring back my father's smile. Zeebzen and I will do it, I swear. I swear! Yeah, the Azul Ministry did talk about something, a way to get into Shevat. We'll see. Sorry, I shouldn't have told you such a bizarre story. It has nothing to do with you. Alright, so that's the Siebzen hangar. Let's go up to the main city. Shevat is a very big place. You know, one of my most favorite video game experiences ever was when I played Chrono Trigger for the first time and arrived at the Kingdom of Zeal. And there was all of this, it was this crazy, developed, magical kingdom that had, you know, all this lore behind it and crazy, like, technology and, like, there was all this stuff. It was high above the clouds and Corridor of Time was playing. And it just seemed like so bizarre after everything I had seen before, like just before with 65 million years past, prehistory when Lavos landed. I think Xenogears first coming to Shevat captured a very similar feeling to me. This place right here is called the Old Capital of Shevat, Eiffel Aura, they call it. Take a listen to my second favorite song in Xenogears. The name of the song in the soundtrack, as I named my stream, is Shevat the Wind Calls. It's my second favorite song in this game. I absolutely love it. The atmosphere they capture with it is perfect. It's this game's Corridor of Time. Maybe not quite as good as Corridor of Time, but it's up there. It's a great song. It's got this just amazing like wind in your hair kind of, but also like mysterious, weird technological, like advanced technologically feel to it. I know it's kind of scatterbrained, but it does kind of like sound like Sky Tower, maybe closer to the music that plays when you first see a Time Gear. Yeah, I can hear that. Yo, this house is basically an apartment for us land dwellers that were saved. I've heard that there aren't many pure Shivites in this town anymore. Basically, it's been said that a majority of them were lost in that war with Solaris 500 years ago. Well, if we're not careful ourselves, our fates may be similar too. So we're going to be seeing some refugees here. Some refugees from the war on the surface, who were saved by Shevat and taken here. Here's a demi-human. It looks like a kangaroo demi-human? Or more like a mule. That's not a kangaroo. Yeah, it's definitely a mule. That large white statue of an angel at the entrance of the palace is a representation of a particular woman. Someone laughing in the background. A particular woman who sacrificed herself in that war 500 years ago. It's so sad. She was probably the beloved heroine of the rebellion back then. This may be something else we learn more about later. Shut up! What is your problem? What am I doing? Can you tell? I'm working out! Standing up and sitting down. Gotta kick Solaris' butt. I have to get pumped up. It's all over for them. Last death blow skill. If only I had my Cyrus punch. You just leave it to me. Take a nap or something. Weird guy. He'll be doing that for a while. Have you already met with Queen Zephyr? A very nice person she is. We are all able to live like this because the Queen saved us. This is just between you and me, but I am the only one. I'm the one and only hope for Shevat. I am the secret agent man. In other words, I'm a spy. Well, ain't I cool? But come to think of it, if you're here too, you guys are probably no different from me. Don't be down. We're all in this together. Isn't even doing the Midgard traditional squats. Yeah, you're not doing the cloud strife squats. Back in Kislev, I used to deal with homemade medicines. By the way, I've heard rumors that the enemy has really cool medicines. I wanted to learn some of those techniques, so I snuck into their shop, but it was a little clumsy. Got desperate and somehow managed to escape and make my way to Thames, the city I had heard stories about. That's where the good people here picked me up. If they hadn't picked me up, then, without a doubt, I would have been a guinea pig for their experimental drugs. Because I'm so cute. Yeah, we did hear, either from one of the people on the Thames or from Ellie, I can't remember, probably Ellie, though, that Shevat makes missions where they kind of, they get lower to the ground. That's how Faye was able to see Shevat so low to the ground when he was in the desert Nave. So they make missions and they can rescue people. Again, in the same way the Lost Numbers do from the city. So, yeah, this is the city. And, you know, the city had their own war of sorts with Mobius that was in Future Redeemed, so you can see where all this is going. So where did you fellas come from? From the looks of it, I guess you're from the Ignis continent. Were you saved by the people here too? I understand. We're all in the same situation. Everyone's got their unique story on how they got involved in this fiasco with the Gebler and the Ethos and all. The usual pattern here is that many of the people were almost eliminated for some reason they don't know, but were saved by the people here before they were doomed. Yeah, even if I were to have returned back to the land, they would probably try to capture me again. It wouldn't matter how many lives I had; it still wouldn't be enough. So I've decided to stick around here. It's probably the case for the majority of the people here. And anyway, don't you want to make the bad guys pay for it? They gotta be crazy if they think we'll just take this lying down. That's basically it. From now on, we're all in the same boat. Welcome aboard. Solaris should not be able to just steal people from the surface willy-nilly, lure them in with the ethos, and be able to just take them up to their land. Yeah, they say the city used to be like any other city when it was on the ground 500 years ago. After losing to Solaris, they launched just the palace block of the city up into the sky. It's basically an unbelievable story, but in reality, we're riding on that part of the city and floating out in the sky right now. In life, you never know what to expect. But we're in an odd situation. We're picking a fight with an organization that has the power to manipulate the world from the shadows. To think we're all just a motley crew of rioters from the land below. Just a bunch of people who've lived most of our lives without knowing the existence of Shevat or Solaris. Come to think of it, it almost sounds like a joke. Hey, yeah, I haven't seen you before. You new? Welcome to the Shevat Liberation Barracks. In actuality, we aren't as glorious as the name may suggest. It is true that this is the barracks for the anti-Solaris troops. Think of this as home and relax. Good. There's a good place to relax here. I'm gonna leave that guy alone. What? Okay, hang on. What is this? It's like a map? Oh! Oh no, that's a map of Ignis. Yeah, the green part is Kislev, and the desert to the desert to the south. It's supposed to be oriented this way. Yeah, it's a map. That's a map of Ignis. You're all alone down here. Yo! Who are you? A new face? Don't scare me. I was wondering if there are some drinks in here. Are the higher-ups still planning on fighting with some country called Solaris? Aren't they the scary guys who actually control the world from the shadows? Ugh, this is crazy. Just when I thought I was able to survive. I can't take it anymore. Well, not everyone is as gung-ho about fighting Solaris as everyone else, I guess. That was the case in the city, too. What are you about? Oh, are you new? It's been so long since last time we had a visitor from the surface. This is a plant shell. Vegetables and fruits needed in Shevat are grown in it, so artificial agriculture. As we live away from the land, we must put more effort to get food. Right now it's a dusty season, so only the staff members are allowed to go in. Humans are good carriers of germs, you know. I'll bring some fresh thunder strawberries for you to eat. So look forward to it. Good to know. Jump back up. What is this? It doesn't move. Is it broken? There's something small written here. The one who attains the dawn, the dusk, and the darkness shall climb the path to heaven. Wiseman. What is this? Dawn, the dusk, and the darkness. Let's see if we can look for that. Oh. There we go. Is that the three metals? No. This is something else. This is something that's like specific. This is kind of a side quest that's specific to Shevat. We can find the dawn, the dusk, and the darkness in Shevat. Just gotta run around A4 a little bit. Big dog! Looks like my dog at home. No, never mind. Not the same breed. I'm gonna save what's up there for a minute. It does lag quite a bit in Shevat, because... reasons. But, yeah. Oh, okay, never mind. I thought this was what was up there, yeah. Oh, this... Haha, who would have figured? If Choo-Choo saw this, she'd probably faint out of pure happiness. The Choo-Choos are residing in Shevat. They're not native to Shevat. There's a difference, but there's a whole clan of Choo-Choos here. There's old Choo-Choo. There is a rumor that the secret room of the Sage of Shevat is hidden somewhere in this town. I wonder if it's true. What? That's strange. You smell like soil and trees. Yes, you do. Long ago, the Choo-Choo tribe lived in the woods with no interference. Yes, they did. I wonder if someday we could ever return to the land and live in the woods again. Native to the woods. I assume they were just kind of rescued by Shevat or made their home here or something like that. A guest? It's been a while. Welcome, welcome. It'd be great if you brought lots and lots of them. you can buy things here. We can buy Aqua Soul DXs now. Let's buy a couple of these. Definitely some Rose Souls, too. Or, yeah, the DXs. We can also buy an Alpha Soul. Restores HP to full. Well, we'll buy maybe 3 of those. Restores EP to full, maybe 6 of those. Oh wow, it's getting up in money. Everything else we've seen before. We have some items we can sell though too. Some gold nuggets, and I believe a gold bullion as well. Yes, nice. Thank you. Come again. I'll give you a discount next time. So beautiful. These are wonderful things that nobody else sells. Yes, they are. But this is a very important treasure of the Choo-Choo, so I can't sell it to you. Sorry. Please go to the counter if you like to buy something. Thank you, thank you. I guess referring to what's in these. The floating rock back there will take you to the wonderful plaza, Aqua Paradise. Yes, it will. Sometimes it's good to get away from reality and forget the cares of the world. Yes, it is. I like people in Shevat because they're all nice. They treat Choo-Choos the same as themselves. Yes, they do. But I heard people on the land are all scary. They lie, say awful things, hurt and kill each other. I am wrong, right? They are all nice people, right? Should we ruin his innocence? What should we do here? Do we ruin his innocence? Yes. Everyone's not necessarily kind and good. I see. I hope everyone understands each other and lives happily together someday. Yes, I do. You're awfully straightforward. I like it. I'll give you this. Received an Aqua Soul S. Received Aqua Soul S. And Aqua Soul DX. Nice. Okay, that paid off. I hope everyone understands each other and lives happily together someday. Yes, I do. Okay. I hear the sage in Shevat did some research on the Choo-Choo tribe's tradition. Yes, he did. That's a lot of work. Even the old generations of the Choo-Choo tribe don't know many things about it. Oh, we're talking to the wrong person. Say, I have something really good to tell you. I could let you in on it. It's a deal you can't refuse. Do you want to know? Sure. I see. You want to know? Yes, you do. Alright, I'll tell you about the inspirational tradition of the Choo-Choo tribe. Yes, I will. Long, long ago, the Choo-Choo tribe had a great big guardian god who could step over huge mountains in one step. The wondrous Mambo god, yes he was. The Choo-Choo tribe and the wondrous Mambo god lived happily together in perfect peace. Yes, we did. A dreamy, sweet existence. But one day, a huge red fireball rained down from the sky and blew away our guardian god as he was asleep. Blam! Kablam! Boom! But don't worry, the great big guardian god became a star in the sky. He protects the Choo-Choo tribe. Yes, he does. Yes, it's a great story. No matter how many times I listen to it, I'm so moved. Yes, I do. But be careful now. Remember, bad guys that pester the poor Choo-Choos will get punished by our guardian god. Yes, they will. Interesting. Guys in Solaris pestered the Choo-Choo tribe who lived on this star from the beginning. So Gramps and Grandmas escaped with the people from Shevat. Yes, they did. And but most of the Choo-Choos couldn't escape and were killed. Those guys ate them. Yes, they did. That reminds me. I'm hungry. Yes, I am. I just remembered I haven't had lunch yet. So it seems that the whole speech pattern of only saying choose, Choo-Choo tribe's text kind of feels like Mr. Saturn's text. A little more complex than the Mr. Saturn's, I would say. It seems like the Choo-Choo's particular dialect. You know, the Choo-Choo that's with Margie back in the Yggdrasil uses chew, the word chew in response, in exchange for things. You sell stuff. You sell equipment. Nice. Silver blood that increases his attack by 1. Sure. Dynamite rod. Sure, I'll get that. Oh. God, it's expensive though. Let's get like 5 of those. Let's get like 5 of those. Eesh. That's good. But yeah, she seems to be unique in that regard, using the word like the chew in exchange, like want chew do things or chew gather, like that kind of speech pattern. The choo-choo with Margie seems to be unique in that regard. The rest of their speech pattern is all the like, yes I did, yes it was, or that kind of the reiteration at the end of a sentence. Forget the guardian god of legend. Nobody believes such fairy tales in this day and age. No. If a great big guardian god existed, he'd have beaten Solaris to death a long time ago. Yes, he would. Just a bunch of optimistic, happy guys. What are we to do about them? I'm gonna jump on your head, and then jump over here and talk to you. No, maybe. My point with that was, it seems like the choo-choo that was with Margie kind of developed, or maybe evolved, independently of the rest of the choo-choo clan. The angels stood watch as the night ended. Twilight night nodded off in the arms of a lost child from 500 years ago, and the sea serpent swallowed the dark. A wise Gramps taught me that a long time ago. Don't know what it is, though. Maybe a spell. Yes, maybe it is. Alright. Well, I'm bored of their dialect already. They're not as good as the Nopon. They tried to make, like, a lot of the 90s RPGs just had to have, like, a mascot character or a mascot character race, even. The choo-choo can never be the Nopon. I'm sorry. What is down here? Water we can stand on. Oh, it's like glass. Okay, let's see. Yes. I'm listening, dear. Reminds me of the good old days. This is the place you and I met for our first date, isn't it? I recall that on that day, you, dear, read me a poem that you said you wrote all by yourself. I thought it funny that such a romantic still exists in our day and age. I was delighted by it. Nothing has changed, dear. Truly important things can't be taken away by anyone. Reminiscence of days past. What are you doing here? Nothing much. Oh yeah, it reminds me I should equip the Silver Blood. Yeah, Silver Blood. It's the name of a whip. Not sure why. After all, pain only causes more pain and sadness. How come those guys up there don't understand such a simple thing? Just relax, have fun fishing like that sage who disappeared. Do you like fishing? Yeah, actually. I see. Then do you want to try catching some fish in the plaza? Fishing is prohibited there, though. I have some good thread. Want it for 500 gold? Sure. Here. You already have some good spider thread. Try hanging the line in the center of the plaza. You'll catch a fish if you're good. Yeah, so you remember all the way at the very beginning of the game, like in the basement of the chief's house in Lahan, beginning of the game, like after Faye like stopped painting, we got a spider thread from somewhere in the house, and we've held on to it this entire time and haven't done anything with it. Well, we can use this spider thread to fish, of all things. Yeah. I said that those items in Lahan that were like a one-time get only would eventually be used for things. The mermaid tier and the and all the other stuff. Mermaid tier, it'll be still be a while before we get to that. Was this FF7? Yeah, it's that kind of thing. But yeah, we can use the spider web. Are you sure we can catch fish even without bait? Huh? The fish is biting! What do you want to do? Reel it in. Okay, here we go. Darn it! I cut the line. Ah, man. You aren't getting that away that easily. Okay, so it gives you basically an extra free attempt, but doesn't do anything else. If you want more thread, you'll have to pay the woman outside some money. I don't know why they make you run so quickly outside in Shevat. Not going to lose it this time. Come on, Faye. Reel it in. Ah. You aren't getting away that easily. Is there a trick to this or something? Or do we just have to keep trying it? Yeah, the whole team is just huddled around this little water puddle. Me and the boys catching fish. Alright. Let's be patient. Huh? What the? Darn it! Ah! What are we supposed to do? You can get something from this. It's like kind of worthwhile. If I remember right. Come on. I don't remember. I don't remember if there's like a trick to it or something. Do you have a story to tell? Let's hear a story. After all, pain. Oh, okay. Same thing you said before. Not really right now, honestly. Not loving it right now. Catching fish from a indoor fountain. Not even like the outside of the fountain, like the inside of the spout of the fountain. The most Fei-Fong Wong way to possibly catch fish. This is the same guy that tried to catch fish with his hands, by the way. Back at the wreckage in Akili. Real Goku figure. Reel it in. Ah, okay, we got something. I did it! I can't believe it. Now open your mouth and let me see it. I found it. This is it. Receive the Dark Rock. There are a total of 3 rocks that you can get here in Eiffel Aura. The Dark Rock, the Dawn Rock, and the Dusk Rock. As I'm sure you can already guess, those are the 3 things that we need to unlock whatever the message from Wiseman was. The darkness, the dusk, and the dawn. So that's the Dark Rock. People in the city had dreamed of going down to the land again for a long time. They dreamed of the day they could go down to the free world after fleeing from Solaris. I have a hunch the day may not be too far away. The city has been wandering the sky like this for 500 years, just watching the ever-changing countries, the world, and those who appeared and disappeared. The people in Shevat lost power, so that's all they could do. Being able to observe may have been a reward for those people here. Alright, so now I have a... Oh, okay. I was about to say, now I have a question. How do I get back up? This. I gotta go find the Dawn and the Dusk rocks. I think the Dark Rock is the hardest one to get. Because of the fishing minigame. That isn't even hardly a minigame, it's just luck. The other two should be a little easier. Alright. Let's... Oh, shoot. This is worse platforming than in the in Babel Tower. Interesting little room. Hello and welcome. As you can see, the Deep Sea Bros is open. It's just we aren't doing any business right now. Deep Sea Bros. Birds in here? What's going on? Say anything? Talk to me? Do anything? No. Okay, so there is a jukebox in here. I said we'd see more of these. And this has another CD. So we got one CD back in Nortune that can play some music. This one already has a CD in it that can play some more music. A Distant Promise. We've heard this one quite a bit. Look at these birds. They've forgotten how to fly during the long history of evolution. We humans are the same. We throw away our broken wings and forgot how to fly. But I doubt it will end like this. We'll remember the sky again someday. Running into the deep, vast blue sky forever. The day will come again. Don't you think so? Alright. Yeah, most of these are kind of softer songs. Our Village's number one is the one that played back in Lahan. Underrated song in my opinion. You only got to hear it that one little part when Lahan was still there. Alright, let's keep moving. What is at the top of this? Why do humans hate and hurt each other? Everyone lives on the same blue sky. Will there ever be any relief from the pain of losing that what was precious to us? When will it be the day we can understand what all this loneliness and sorrow was for? In short, we may be repeating the same mistake we made 500 years ago. Okay, is that it? There's something there. That's for later. I love the music here so much. It really does have that same Corridors of Time feel. Hello, surface people. Look at this picture. It's me and my wife a long time ago. It may be hard to believe, but there was a time when we were young too, full of dreams and hopes. My wife died 2 years ago, so I asked the people in the world below to bury her ashes in the earth. My time will also come soon. Could you young people bury my ashes in the earth for me too? I'm tired of waiting and believing. I want to rest in peace in the earth. Life and death and love and birth and peace and love on the planet Earth. This country's been through a lot. We no longer have enough strength to fight Solaris. And people from the world below should go to the Royal Palace. Queen Zephyr will listen to your wishes and show you the way. It may be the new hope for those who are against Solaris. I was wondering what it would be like to live without getting old like Queen Zephyr. What has she seen and heard for the past 500 years? Did what she see and hear really bring her happiness? That I don't know. Queen Zephyr lives without getting old. Interesting. We'll meet her later. Nice. Like lab papers here. What are you doing down here? We don't have equipment or materials like Solaris does. What the hell do they want us? What do they want us for? Damn it, we are at a disadvantage when it comes to technology and ideas. So is it military? Is it power? What is the disadvantage here? What's the use of having a gear if there's no one to ride on it? The only gear that needs maintenance is Maria's gear, which is hardly ever used. Well, to be honest with you, we don't have any chance in this fight, unless a miracle happens. Battle was probably settled at the point where they let her escape in that war 500 years ago. Let who escape in that war? The store is about to be closed. Gears aren't needed in this town except for the Queen's troops. But please take a look. We no longer have much business, but all the items are our pride and joy. So this is the gear shop in Shevat. Do we have new stuff? Yes! Much better engines. And again, we have to make this choice. The B30 has 4,200 fuel. Valid just started downloading. It's preparing for when the DLC is fully launched. Gotcha. Or the K35, which has 3,500 fuel. And I'm going to be making the same choices as last time. Same kind of rationale. We can now get a lot more HP, although this is very costly. Let's do the RX metal. Oof, that's a lot. I'm going to put us down quite a bit, but sure. We'll do Vierge. At least Veltal and Vierge will always be mainstays in the party, so most of the time. At least get them up to par. We'll keep her with the Z alloy because she does need her ether defense. That's okay. Let me think. What gears do I need to use coming up? Because eventually we do reunite with the people in the Yggdrasil. I'm gonna be using Ren Maswo at some point. Let's give Ren Maswo the best the K35 and 12,000 HP and the RX. Styre, no. Okay. Heimdall, I guess, is a little behind. I don't have any money, though. Okay. That's fine. So we'll get another chance to shop at some point. I'm sure they have accessories I could go through as well. Maybe even some new extra armor, but I'm good. I need to equip the armor that I got for my ground characters, actually. War Mail, War Helm. Anything better than a power ring? I guess not. War Mail, War Helm. War Mail. Silver Brace better than the War. Okay. Fair enough. An old house of some kind. Some toys, some stuff on the table. Bit dilapidated. were killed by Solaris. To hell with them. We're fighting over lives, aren't we? At times involving those that have nothing to do with the struggle. Damn it. All you want is to win? Don't you care about anything else? There are a lot of people who don't care if they hurt others. So, this is where you all were. The Queen said this house was destroyed in the Great War 500 years ago. This house has been kept like this on purpose as a reminder of the war. Thank you for waiting. Please come to the palace with me. Hey, wait! Disagreeable squirt. Let's go toward the palace, shall we? We can talk about institutions and wars long ago, and the big scale of the battle, the macro scale. But at the end of the day, war is war, and we are impacting individual lives with our efforts. It's always something to keep in mind. This is the end of the city. If you're not leaving yet, you better turn back. So I'll lead out of Eiffel Aura. We still have those other 2 rocks to find. Let's see if we can search around. I don't remember how to get the other 2. It may not even be here in Eiffel Aura. We may have to actually just go ahead and go to the palace. I thought both of them were here in Eiffel Aura, though. Could be wrong. Okay. Well, let's go to the palace, see everything in there, and we can come back to Eiffel Aura in a little bit. The palace is very big, and there's a lot more people to talk to in here. Also, a lot of lore. There's like a lot of backstory and stuff we can get here, too, by talking to people. More than probably any place in the game, I highly recommend talking to every single person in Shevat. Because there is essential lore that is hidden beneath NPC dialogue in Shevat. But they want us to go talk to the Queen first, so we'll go greet her. How's the service doing lately? I'm sure the people down there are living blindly yet peacefully as usual. I seriously doubt any spy would be able to get in. And as I expected, since we have new people from the surface, there's increased security. You never know what might happen. If anything would ever happen to the Queen, it'd be disastrous. Let's go meet the Queen. And more choo-choos, that's right. There's an orange choo-choo you probably saw as we went up the elevator. Wiseman! You're finally here. Where have you been? Why are you here? I told you before. I learned martial arts with your father in Shevat. The Queen is waiting. Go ahead. Okay. Please come in. Thank you for coming such a long way. I am the Queen of Shevat, Zephyr. Queen of Shevat, Zephyr. Wiseman the Goat, yeah. That was a bad... I don't know what I was thinking there. Thank you for coming. What is this? It's just a kid. I may appear like this, but I'm actually 522 years old. 522? Is that really possible? Yes. I and a select few of the vassals have undergone some special life-extending treatments. We were required to continue living until that final day approaches because of one man. To continue living, This is our atonement for that tragedy 500 years ago. Let us discontinue this discussion of the past. I've heard many things about all of you from Wiseman. Wiseman has been conducting his operations on the surface under my orders, to keep an eye on that man's activities. Also, he was ordered to bring anyone from the surface who would be of help to us, to Shevat. 500 years ago, we fought against Solaris for the freedom of the land dwellers. Even after that, we continued to resist Shevat. Sorry, God. Resist Solaris, although we are short of any real power. Land dwellers, can you find it in your heart to help us? We must free mankind from the grasps of Solaris. We must gain true freedom and build a peaceful world to live in. Something's not right. This fight for independence from a tyrant. The battle for freedom. You see, you make it seem like your intentions are noble. In reality, though, maybe you're no different from Solaris. Anyway, I'm too busy with trying to take Abe back from that bastard Shakan. Hate to break this to you, but I don't have the time. You are apparently nothing like the calm and quiet Rodi Fatima, Bart. You are so similar to Roni at the same time. There is logic behind what you say, though. However, I tell no lie when I say we are doing this purely for the future of the land dwellers. If you still cannot believe us, then defeat Solaris, gain back the independence of the land dwellers, and then see if we still embrace the heavens together. The pretext of the past and the discord between the nations. Why be concerned at such a small scale? You must look at the bigger picture. Ugh. It should do you some good if you rest in the palace and think about it. You must think about what you ought to do. But remember, Solaris has been quite active lately, so we don't have much time for leisure. As for you, Ellie, your family and friends, you must understand that they will all have to be your enemies. Without this clear understanding, you may be placing your companions in a situation where it may cost them their lives. Yes, I understand. Very well then. Now go and get some rest. Alright. They're recruiting us for help. Queen is Hyentian. Not naturally long living, but she did get life extending treatments. We have these two doors here, we'll come back to that. Let's go explore the palace. Lots of people to talk to here. See if we can learn a little more from some of the people here about the war 500 years ago. Maybe some additional information that can help us make our choice. Long ago, I've heard that a lone choo-choo was taken from the town by Wiseman. I haven't heard what happened after that. I hope that choo-choo is doing well. Okay. This is the library where many books are gathered. This place is packed with many ancient books that you cannot find on the surface. If you're a book fanatic, you drool over books like our first run prints, limited books, autograph books, banned books, and mountains of hard to find books, and more mountains of books. Oh, it's too much. Well, setting that aside, if there's something you want to know about from the past, it'd be good to go take a look, to go in and talk to the librarians. Don't worry, it's their job anyway to tell the new people from the surface about the past. Let's see what we can learn. This is where I'm saying the essential lore comes from. You want to talk to every single person in the library because there's like essential backstory that you can only ever find here that makes things later marginally less confusing. Surviving through the Great War 500 years ago in the Diablos collapse, we and the rest of our comrades secluded ourselves on Shevat. At the time, Shevat was being constructed at the tip of Babel Tower, and we were able to escape to the sky before Solaris once again ascended to power over the land. Since then, we've been wandering the skies while overlooking the activities of the land below. I need some water. That should help. Let's start on this side, actually. You're probably already aware of this, but this Shevat is protected by a special gate made possible by an ancient technology. Even Solaris cannot break this barrier. Because of that, we are able to avoid being invaded to this day. But even with that, we don't have the power to attack Solaris either. It's a stalemate. Basically, we've just been glaring at each other. After the war, Solaris used a gate, like ours, to separate ourselves from the surface. And then they erased all memory of their existence from the surface dwellers. Due to this, the surface dwellers are still not aware that they've been secretly dominated by Solaris all along. To be born into a false reality, to grow up in it, and to die in it, without ever approaching the truth. That is the life of a surface dweller. So that's interesting. So Solaris has some kind of power over the people's minds, whether it's actual like mind control, or whether it's just like a political thing where they just kind of removed all the records of their existence. You don't know exactly, but that's scary to think about. They made it intentionally so that none of the surface dwellers know that Solaris is the one pulling the strings behind everything all along. Also, this man mentioned the Diabolos collapse. I got the DLC before Japan. Oh, for real? It came out now? Oh crap. Okay, well, I'll be playing that a bit tomorrow. This man here mentioned the Diabolos collapse. That Shevat survived the Diabolos collapse. It's an event we haven't heard about yet, but maybe something to keep in mind. The reason mankind was able to make it through and survive certain death 500 years ago is because of the power of those giants created through God's wisdom. Roni Fatima and the other young fighters piloted these giants and destroyed the heart of Diabolos. Seeing an opportunity to counterattack, mankind desperately stood up against Diabolos and successfully annihilated them. Roni Fatima, Queen Zephyr, and the rest of the young ones put their lives on the line and won back the future for this world. Roni Fatima, that's the same person that Queen Zephyr was referring to. Roni Fatima, isn't that my ancestor? So you're saying my ancestor, Roni, fought alongside Queen Zephyr against Solaris? You see now why I wanted to bring Bart along. Diabolos. The sudden appearance of the mysterious army put a full stop to the battle between the humans 500 years ago. Those angels of death, utterly unrivaled, with no fear or mercy, their only intention was to eradicate all life on this planet. Even Solaris' proudest gear battalions were mere flies to them. Nothing stopped them as they indiscriminately slaughtered and trampled upon countless lives. At that time, people were certain that the end of the world was approaching. Dominated by feelings of constant fear and hopelessness, it was a dreadful life. So that's interesting. Diabolos wasn't allied with either Solaris or Shevat and the Surface Dwellers. They were a third party, an alien force, it seems. The great war that unfolded between Solaris and Shevat 500 years ago. It was a heroic battle with the freedom and independence of the land dwellers at stake. The rebel army, which centered around Shevat, was successful at attacking the inner citadel of Solaris, but only with tremendous sacrifices. However, before we almost made it, the unthinkable happened. A new enemy appeared that even Solaris had not anticipated. That was when the nightmare began, a nightmare never seen before. A nightmare that we pray we would never have to see again. It's the Diabolos. Some crazy incident that was. At one point, Solaris and its Gazel ministry, made up of 12 elders, dominated the world with more military might than they have presently. The people on the land were treated like slaves. If any of them resisted, they were quickly and mercilessly dealt with. They treated the people as if they weren't living beings. Eventually, people on the surface began to rebel from all parts and ultimately led to the Solaris-Shevat War 500 years ago. Heavily beaten Solaris forces began to pull back and return to their home country, taking along with them vast numbers of land dwellers as slaves. We couldn't stop them. The only way for the war-torn land dwellers to survive was to depend on Solaris. After the brief moment of hope, Solaris once again began to reign over our lives. A cold and harsh era had begun. 500 years have passed, and their reign still continues. No one knows how long this is going to last. Okay, so I'm going to give you a timeline here. So, before the war 500 years ago, Solaris was already there. And they kind of exerted more direct control, like military control, treated the surface dwellers like slaves. But because of that, the surface dwellers were able to rise up with the help from Shevat. But after the war ended, Solaris still maintained their reign because they took a bunch of people back to the Solaris homeland as slaves, but they did it in a more discreet way. Nowadays, instead of just ruling through military might, Solaris rules through proxy institutions like the Ethos, or by sending Gebler to instigate a coup in Ave that puts Shakan in power, or by having the Ethos try to leverage control in Kislev. They try to leverage their power in very subtle and discreet ways, while making sure that the land dwellers never know it's Solaris. It's all part of the big scheme. If they never know about Solaris, they can never rebel. So that's the idea. People are so caught up in the war between Ave and Kislev that they have no idea about the real enemy that's actually keeping the war going behind the scenes. It's the same thing with Mobius. So they will never be able to rise up again. They'll never be able to rebel. And Solaris could just keep controlling the world for us for until the end of time. I don't know why it took me a little bit to think about that. Yeah. The powerless are maimed and slaughtered, all because those crazed leaders give out one bloodlusted order. It doesn't matter how advanced the technology or culture is. It's the same thing. Not one thing has changed over the years. It's gotten so sad you can almost laugh. How long does this have to last? This is the tactical command room. Currently, we are keeping track of the activities of both Solaris and the land and collecting data. Lately, there's been a lot of unusual activity down on the surface. You think Solaris found something? We did hear that Solaris has become more active. But they've got to remain discreet. They can't let their status be known. And you think about one thing I think about when I'm hearing all of this is when we went to Bledavik, when we went to Nortun even, there were people in both of those cities, kids mainly. Think back to Bledavik, for instance. Back in Bledavik, there were kids who were all wrapped up in, yeah, we're gonna beat Kislev, and we're part of Ave, and the Kislev baddies are going down, and they're caught up in all the nationalism, the patriotism that surrounded Ave. It was all a scheme. They're playing into Solaris' hand. Solaris wants them to be distracted by the war, so that they're not thinking about what's going on behind the scenes. That which the Gazel Ministry of Solaris desperately seeks is the 12 Anima Relics, created by God's wisdom. This is another important thing to keep in mind. The Anima Relics. We have heard bits and pieces of about the Anima Relics from the Gazel Ministry. But now we have confirmation here. 12 Anima Relics created by God's wisdom. The merging of an Anima Relic and a gear can produce an Omni Gear. Okay, this is important. We heard all that time ago from Old Man Bao, now we know Maria's grandfather, back in the cave, about the Omni Gear, supposedly an ultra-powerful type of gear that existed perhaps 500 years ago, or may have existed. It was kind of a legend. Bart had also heard something about it, and in fact, he theorized there were old scrolls, pictures that passed through his family, that passed through the Fatima family, that depicted really large and powerful gears, and he hypothesized that perhaps that was an Omni Gear. So now we have confirmed the Omni Gear's existence. They're real things. You merge a gear and an Anima Relic, you can create this. But the subjects must be in suitable synchronization, or else the transformation will not occur. Some of the Anima Relics have been discovered, but there are still more left undiscovered, sleeping deep in the earth. Even we have been doing much of the search, but to no avail. So, the crazy thing is, like, this is kind of what I'm saying. This is key information, key, like, world lore that is necessary to understand what's, like, coming next in the story, and that, like, is vital information about what's going on in the world, and they drop it in NPC dialogue. They really do want you to talk to, like, all the NPCs in Shevat and learn as much as you can. The power of the Omni Gears was so great that they could even hold back the Diablo's collapse 500 years ago. We heard about this from one of the men back in a library just a few moments ago, that the Giants, as they call them, were able to somewhat hold back the Diabolos. So, the Giants, as they're referred to, the Omni Gears. If any more of these fall into the hands of the enemy, our future, and even those of the Land Dwellers, will be... I implore you, Land Dwellers, we require your assistance. Shevat must collect the remaining animal relics by any means necessary. We cannot let them fall into Solaris' hands, even as the Gazel Ministry tries their damnedest. So the animal relics were created by God's wisdom. I wonder if that is truly the case. All in all, that unit was meant to merge with something inorganic. That would be the proper assumption. It is foolish of humans to try to depend on such things. Oh my, I said too much. Forget what I said. We have another reference to God that's not from the ethos. So, it's not the fake God, it's not the fake ethos God. Perhaps there is a real God out there somewhere. Or it's just a legend that they kind of used to refer to that as. The scientists of Solaris had bitter experiences in the revolt by the Lambs 500 years ago, so they decided to do some work on the Lambs. They inserted various limiters so that they would never be able to revolt. This answers the question from earlier. It is mind control. For the past 500 years, Solaris controlled the Lambs' consciousness, behavior, and all. Naturally, Lambs don't know anything about it. That makes it even more unforgivable, although it's highly efficient. The scientists, you're interested in the efficiency part, I'm sure. The limiters. So, Solaris has put into place somehow a limiter into the minds of the land dwellers that prevents them from knowing about Solaris. Interesting. A man named Krelian. You heard about Krelian. He's the big scientist from Solaris. A man named Krelian was the mastermind behind the planting of the limiter in the Lambs. He was originally a Lamb. He learned molecular engineering from the sage Melchior personally, but he misused it for such a terrible act, an unbelievable monster. The whereabouts of the three sages, Melchior, Balthasar, and Gaspar, have not been known since the Great War. This is mirroring the Kingdom of Zeal. There were three sages, Melchior, Gaspar, Balthasar. Of course, both of the referencing the same thing. Those are the names of the three wise men in the Bible. But yeah, it's kind of mirroring the same thing. There's even a rumor that they lost faith in humans because of the tragedy in Nisan. Solaris' activities have increased once again. I wonder where they are and what they're up to. Well, perhaps one of those names, Balthasar, is of course the last name of Maria and Isaac Balthasar, the one we met in the cave. Perhaps he is the missing Balthasar sage. The limiter restrains the Lamb's abilities, but there may be a way to remove it. Torah Melchior, he used to be one of the three sages of Shevat. He must know a way to remove the limiter. Okay, got a first name on one of them. This land is a testing ground for Solaris. Their objectives are genetic engineering, crossbreeding, and mind control. They want to collect data for the newly created organisms and general combat data. Lambs are mere livestock to be raised for Solaris' purposes. The ethos was established mainly to control the Lambs. What? Collecting combat data? Then this war that's lasted for hundreds of years in the Ignis continent. It was just a farce plotted by Solaris. It's not a farce. To them, it's an important simulation under strict regulations. Creating appropriate organisms that can align themselves with the anima relics is one of their important objectives. In any case, the Lambs will continue to be Solaris' guinea pigs unless someone stops them. That's interesting. The people of the service world are nothing more than guinea pigs for their experiments. So that gives them motivation as to why they're trying to control the surface, why they're trying to exert their control. Maria has truly done so much for us as of now. Many of us consider her to be the guardian angel of Shevat. Regardless of how well she can control Siebson, she's only a 13-year-old girl. She's probably worried sick about her father, who's been captured by Solaris. Balthasar has strongly told Maria not to leave Shevat under any circumstances. He probably said that because he knows that if provided with the chance, that child would immediately try to fly off to Solaris, all by herself to rescue her captured father riding on the Siebson. Stubborn girl. The Great War 500 years ago, I can remember it like it was yesterday. It's something I can't get myself to forget. Many lives were lost, much love, many dreams, friends, those irreplaceably important things in our lives that were scarred and left to bleed. Are those days going to return once again? I don't want my children or grandchildren to go through that nightmare. You humans are truly unusual living beings, aren't you? You're all like shattered fragments of a mirror. That's the symbol coming up again. The same one that I've stated about before. The main symbol of this game, the shattering mirror that happens before every battle. Alright, so what is in this room? This month is going to be very tight too. You must cut down on rations a little to make it. But everyone would probably gripe about that. What am I gonna do? We've been flying up in the sky, right? It isn't easy getting supplies. We can't just go and get all our own supplies either. We made it this far somehow, but if the situation continues like this, we better do something. Getting low on rations, it seems. So as far as the motivations of Solaris, we know a couple of things. So we heard that they're trying to, one of their objectives at least, is to try to collect the anima relics and to try to find people from the surface, do experimentation on them to try to find vessels for the anima relics. Something of that sort. We'll learn more about that later. You know, that's one of their motivations. At the same time, they also have this IM project that we heard something about from Jesse, which we don't know the ins and outs of, but they're doing genetic and scientific experimentation for that as well. So we have these different motivations. Something to think about. More of the reasons of why exactly is Solaris trying to control the surface. Oh, so hungry. Is the meal ready yet? Whatever you do, it all goes back to food. You got that? Food! For me, I get the feeling I'm most alive when I'm eating. Isn't it the same with you guys? You eat to live or live to eat? You don't even know, do we? But those Solarians are always eating all the good stuff. Ah, that's unforgivable. This is the kitchen area? We're still running around in the sky because of the war that broke out 500 years ago. It doesn't make any sense. Why do we have to suffer for what our ancestors did? What do you think? Can't get any fresh ingredients for meals. I've had it. We're having to ration things out to the military, I'm sure. These are some familiar faces. This is Yui, Saitan's wife. From back in Lahan, or the mountaintop outside of Lahan. Oh, welcome. You look good, Faye. The meal will be ready soon. Please join us and eat to your heart's content. Huh? Yui? Why are you here? Oh, didn't I tell you before? I was born here. After you left the village, I decided to return to Shevat along with the survivors of the village. You know that, so Satan said that the Lahan survivors had been moved to some other place. We now know where they were moved to, because the soldiers from Abe and Kislev were showing up around there. I see. Sorry for putting so much trouble on you. What are you saying? It's not your fault. There's nothing to worry about. The people from the village understood after they came here and heard the story. They couldn't blame only you for that incident because Solaris was behind it. Yes, but... Excuse me, but who's this lady? Oh, you've never met her before. This is Doc's wife, Yui. Wife of Satan. I take it you are Bart, the Orca of the desert, right? I've heard a lot about you. You've been quite busy. It's nice to meet you. Yes. How do you do? Have you met the Queen? If you haven't, go say hello to her as soon as possible. Okay, then I'll see you later. So, if the survivors are here, that probably means that Dan may be found somewhere here as well. Here's Midori. Choo-choo, my friend. Finally talks. It's the first time we've heard her speak all game. Midori really talks a lot. It's amazing how much stuff you have to talk about. We could have a conversation without talking. Have you forgotten already? Interesting. She's a talkative person, but she talks in the form of telepathy. Just arrived from the surface, didn't you? I've heard about you. They say you saved our colleague captured by the Ethos. Thank you very much for that. That's the one that brought us here. I wish they'd give me a mission. I'd teach those Solarians a lesson. Oh, and you are? I feel like I've met you before. You resemble Khan, the one who taught us the art of fighting. Nobody knows his whereabouts after he went down to the surface on the Queen's mission. Doubt something bad happened to him, considering his skills. I wonder where he is. Khan is Faye's father, as we heard from Wiseman. Okay, have I been everywhere yet? So, that room, I think that was the supply house that we went to. Let's see. Further down is the prison. It hasn't been used for several hundred years, though. It isn't anything worth seeing. Well, I guess you could say we had a similar barbaric phase like the Land Dwellers. I'm sure if you live in the sky for so long, you start to see the Land Dwellers and all their wars as being pretty barbaric. This is where we keep the criminals in their cells. It's been said that soldiers from Solaris were locked up in here long ago. I've heard we've even done many atrocious things at that time. War is like that. It abolishes good and bad. One betrays friends, neighbors, even his own flesh and blood. War turns even good, kind humans into crazed monsters. Yep, that's true enough. This is the carbonite cage that petrifies humans alive. Regardless of whether it was only used on criminals, it is still heinous. No matter how you look at it, they've sure got thought of cruel things. By the way, you Land Dwellers know about the Nissan tragedy during the Great War. Did you hear anything from the higher-ups? We heard something of it, but no specifics. What happened? I doubt they told you. Those old men politely avoid talking about it. Do they think the truth will disappear if they turn away from the past? Bunch of fools. Be careful, Land Dweller. You'll have a terrible time if you open up your heart to those old men. It's like they did in Nissan 500 years ago. And you still don't tell me what happened. Some unspeakable tragedy. We can go further in. There's another door here. Also, the carbonite cage was interesting. That's Star Wars. This is a machine created to put brutal criminals and dangerous monsters to sleep. It isn't expected to be used again, but it is ready anytime just in case. Anyone who has no business here should leave. Get out right now. Fine. Jeez. Just snooping around. That day, 500 years ago, that woman was definitely here. There was no other alternative but to be a captive. We could have won, at the cost of many sacrifices, only if that traitor hadn't disappeared with the woman. The escaped woman freed the beast. The beast sucked human blood and ate their flesh, and tore the world apart. Excuse me, miss. You resemble the girl who was like an angel and sacrificed in the Great War. I can picture Zephyr and the followers' confusion. They were the ones who were actually responsible for the death of Sophia. In actuality, we are still being punished for that crime 500 years ago. It feels almost ridiculous. Sophia, huh? Same great mother Sophia who founded the Nissan Church 500 years ago. Oh wait, 500 years ago. The same time ago that the war was. And there was some tragedy in Nissan. I'll let you put the pieces together until we know more. Okay. I think that's the last room we didn't go into. Yeah, okay, all these up here we did. Oh no, there's this, okay. Did I go in here? So the newcomers from the surface. We're always happy to have more friends to fight against Solaris. I look forward to working with you. Okay. We go in here. Welcome to Shevat. I've already heard that you are our guests. Please use this room as you please. Oh, okay. That's the inn. Okay, got it. That's where we'll be resting for the night. We didn't go into these rooms. Okay, you have some more. Krellian holds the true power in Solaris, is what I'm saying. The irony of fate. Once that man fought alongside Roni Fatima, Queen Zephyr, and Lacan against Solaris. Names coming up here. These are important to know. Lacan, if you remember back in Nissan, the flashback of sorts that Faye had painting Sophia's portrait that was like left unfinished in Nissan, he was referred to as Lacan. And we now know that Lacan was one of the ones that fought against Solaris 500 years ago, and that Sophia was caught up in that too. And we know Roni Fatima, that's Bart's ancestor, and then Queen Zephyr has lived all that time. And we now have another key figure amidst all of that, Krelian, who we know is now a scientist for Solaris, but was previously a lamb, who did originally fight against Solaris. And they say he holds the true power. To protect Shevat from the outside, the ancient technology of the gate is used. It's fundamentally the same thing as the stuff Solaris is planted on the surface. Even with Solaris' technology, the gate cannot be broken, though. But at times, I come to think about whether this gate is only for protecting us from Solaris. Maybe that man left this gate behind to separate us, just isolate us from the rest of the world. If that was his intention, then Krelian is indeed dreadful. Does that man's resentment run that deep? So Krelian made the gate. Do you remember? It may sound annoying me like reiterating some of these things, but like I'm trying to kind of emphasize what's worth remembering. There's a lot of details here. There's some key stuff that's worth remembering for later, worth kind of tucking away in the back of your mind. Oh, I see. So you're the son of Khan. Have you met Queen Zephyr yet? She still can't forget about the tragedy in Nissan during the Great War 500 years ago, even though it's not her fault. I assume she can't forgive herself for betraying and abandoning her fellow members, though she had no knowledge of what was going on. Well, I may have said too much. I'm not supposed to know anything. Anyhow, keep up the good work in overthrowing Solaris, young man. You did say something about our atonement when we talked to Queen Zephyr. Perhaps the tragedy in Nissan was what she was referring to. Balthasar brought Maria to Shevat about 5 years ago. Sorry, I keep reading 500 years ago, but this is just 5 years ago. Along with that Siebzen. Balthasar said he sneaked into Solaris by himself and tried to save Dr. Nikolai and Maria. He laughed as he told me that he managed to escape with Maria and take that Siebzen as a souvenir. Maria's father, Dr. Nikolai, was captured by Solaris, and nothing has been heard from him since. In any case, I'm sure he's been being forced to do research on gears. If they develop Siebzen further into a new gear weapon and start mass-producing them, well, to say the least, it would be more than we could ever handle. Scary thought. We made quick work of Siebzen, but it's actually a very powerful gear. Okay, more stuff. Long ago, humans were with God in a paradise in the sky called Mahanan. The place was protected by the power of God. Humans were never exposed to the fear or danger of death. However, one day, humans entered God's forbidden garden and ate a fruit which bestowed upon them tremendous intelligence and power. God found out about the incident and the humans were banished from the paradise. The prosperous times were over. An era of sorrow and hatred began. That was the first part of the legend of Genesis that was passed on from long ago. They say a legend such as this contains some truth to it. That is the exact same legend of Genesis that Old Man Bao, back in the cave in Ave, also told us. If you remember, just kind of jogging your memory a little bit, Balthasar, back in the stalactite cave in Ave, he had been collecting fossils. And the ethos had taught about the idea that man had evolved rather than was created. But it seemed like human fossils only suddenly, spontaneously started appearing at a certain point 10,000 years ago, rather than having evolved like the ethos said. We now know that a lot of what the ethos said was BS anyway, and was serving the agenda of Solaris. And we now know that Balthasar was from Shevat. He's one of the sages of Shevat. So that lends more credibility to Balthasar's story, the same one that this one is telling here, as they're calling it the Legend of Genesis. Another thing that's worth keeping in the back of your mind. Humans banished from the paradise were foolish enough to revolt against God. In order to resist the power of God, they created 12 anima relics and called themselves gods. This is even further back. This is 10,000 years ago. This is way further back than even the Shevat Solaris War or even Zeboim. Zeboim was only about 4,000 years ago, so this is even further back than that. For 10 days, 10 nights, the world shed its blood. Mahanan was enveloped in flames. But human strength was no match for God, and the arrogant humans were destroyed by God's anger. Only a few righteous men were left on the land. However, God was also tired and wounded. He decided to rest in the deepest depths of the earth. God's rest was long, but eternity is only a moment to God. Since then, the righteous men who didn't revolt against God had to live in the harsh nature by themselves, being in constant fear of death. The legend also says the following: when the righteous men's children are born again, God will awaken from the long rest and give a helping hand to them. If the legend is true, what will the awakening God bring to the people? What kind of existence is God? It is not known how much of the Genesis legend is true. However, the anima relics made through God's wisdom do exist. Solaris' Gazel ministry is desperate to find the anima relic and Mahanan, a place known to be God's resting place. If Solaris attains that power, no one will be able to stop them. What will happen to the world then? So we don't know if all the story of the Genesis is true, but we do know Mahanan is a place, whether it's God's paradise or whatever, God, it is a place, and we know that God sunk back beneath the sea after the man tried to revolt. So Mahanan is somewhere beneath the sea. The Gazel Ministry, you're trying to seek that according to these people. And we know that the anima relics do exist, and the Gazel Ministry is trying to seek those as well. Okay, that's the actual last room, because everything down here we've been to before. That's a lot to take in. It's a lot of backstory, lots of lore, a lot of things that we've learned here. There's one place we haven't been to yet. Not anything big, ground-shaking revelation here, but if we go here, in this room, there is a statue here. This looks something like the statue that's outside the palace that we heard that was some sort of guardian angel of sorts for Shevat, represented someone that fought in the war 500 years ago. There's nothing else notable in that room, although we may come back there later. And now this door, this is what I thought the other one was. Yeah, okay. Here we go. This is a door that leads outside, to like the top of the palace. And we can find Maria here. Are you finished talking to the Queen? What do you all plan on doing? Are you going to fight alongside the people of Shevat against Solaris? Everyone is searching for a reason to live, a reason to fight, to understand better the meaning of death. However, that is something we must find on our own, and make it our own. That is what my grandfather said, though I don't understand what he meant by it. It's already been 5 years since my grandfather brought me to Shevat. Grandfather and the Queen always told me not to leave Shevat, that I must not go to Solaris alone. There's no way I could lose to any other gear in my Sievzen. There's no way. I'll step on all those Solarians with Sievzen. Beat them all. Beat them down. Beat them all down. Why does Grandfather and the Queen stop me? Don't they care what happens to Father? Are they just going to stand by and watch him die? I can't forgive those people who tortured Father, and those who silently stand by and watch. Even as we speak, my father and Solaris may be... It's a hard feeling to go through, knowing you can't do anything. And the people who love you and care about you don't want you to do anything about it. But perhaps there's truth in what they're saying as well. Okay, does Weissman say anything new after we talked to the Queen? Faye, go with Shevat. Your father, Khan, would have wanted you to. We'll rest on it. Here's the room where we'll rest. Okay, we've rested on it. Next thing to do is go talk to the queen. We also have the other 2 rocks that I want to go get at some point. But I think after everything we've learned today, that's enough. We'll stop there, and we will see what happens next time. And I'll get to play the DLC tomorrow. I'll get to play the Pokemon DLC. Looking forward to it. Alright. Well, that said, stop there for now. And y'all have a good rest of your night.